What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today we are going to talk about when to use Dorian minor and when to use natural minor during improvisation. Without a doubt, one of the most difficult things to figure out when you're starting to learn how to improvise is which minor scale you should use over a minor chord. So today we're going to talk about a couple strategies that you can use to help decipher that puzzle and help you figure out which scale fits the minor chord that you're looking at in each song. To get started, I want to do a little recap of what the Dorian minor scale is and what the natural minor scale is and where they come from. Both Dorian minor and natural minor are modes of your major scale. The Dorian minor scale or mode comes from the second degree of the major scale. So if we are in the key of C, we would play our Dorian minor scale from D to D because it starts on the second degree of the major scale. By doing that, it gives us a F natural and a C natural, which would also be a flat third and a flat seventh. The natural minor mode is called Aeolian, although we almost always refer to it as natural minor. The mode name is Aeolian, and it comes from the sixth degree of the major scale. So if we're going to play the sixth degree of the C major scale, we would start on A and play from A to A in the key of C. That would give us a flat third, a flat sixth, and a flat seventh. So the only difference between natural minor and Dorian minor is the sixth degree. Dorian minor has a major sixth or a regular sixth, the one that's in your major scale, and natural minor has a flat sixth. To decipher this puzzle of Dorian versus natural minor, we are going to use some jazz standards as our examples. So the very first one we're going to do is the song So What? And So What has a B minor 7 for your first 16 measures. So there are no other chords around it to help you figure out which scale you should be using. So what we're going to do is take a look at the melody, and hopefully the melody will tell us which sixth degree we should be using. So in the key of B minor, or in the key of B, our sixth degree is G sharp. So if we're going to play Dorian minor, we're going to stay with the G sharp. If you're going to play natural minor, we're going to play a G natural. So let's take a look at this melody and see whether it has any G sharps or G naturals, and it can give us any ideas or clues of which minor scale we should be playing. That's a pretty good clue. Our very first note, not including the bass line, is a G sharp. So if your first note in a minor song over a minor chord is the major sixth, that is screaming, use Dorian minor over this minor chord. So your minor chord is B minor 7. So if you're going to chord outline or scale outline that, we would play B Dorian minor. So we'd have the major sixth, which is a G sharp, instead of natural minor, which would have the G natural, which is not in the melody. For our next example, we are going to look at the tune Bluebasa, and it starts off with 2 measures of A minor 7 going into 2 measures of D minor 7. So the chord outline would sound like this. So the first chord that we're going to try to figure out whether it's Dorian or natural is going to be the A minor 7. Now our sixth degree of A minor or A major scale, whatever, is going to be F sharp. So we need to figure out whether it should be F sharp for Dorian or F natural for natural minor. So let's take a look at the melody and see if that gives us any clues. Now, if we look at the third measure, we have an F natural, and it's on beat 1, and it's a half note. So that's telling us that it's a pretty good chance that we're looking at natural minor here. But another way to figure out which scale you should be using, whether it be Dorian or natural, is to look at the chords that are around the chord you're trying to figure out. So our first chord is A minor 7, so there's no chord before it, so we can't look at anything from that direction. But if we look after it, we have D minor 7. And right away, we see that the third degree of D minor 7 is an F natural. And in our natural minor scale, our A natural minor scale, we have an F natural. So that is a pretty good clue that we are looking at natural minor for the A minor 7 chord. Because 1, we have an F natural in the melody, and 2, one of the chords that is right next to it also has an F natural in it. Now, let's take a look at that D minor 7. The first thing we want to do is figure out what the 6th degree is. So the 6th degree of your D scale is B. So we need to figure out whether it's B for Dorian or B flat for natural. Our first way to look at this is playing the melody and see if we have B naturals or B flats in our melody. Oh, there's a B right there. There's another B. So we have 2 B's in our melody. So that's kind of telling us, maybe we're going to be using the Dorian minor here because we have B naturals instead of B flats. So again, let's take a look at the chords before and after our D minor 7 chord. So the chord before D minor 7 is A minor 7. So that doesn't really tell us a whole bunch about the B because it's not a chord tone, but there is a B natural and not a B flat in your A minor 7 scale. So again, we're leaning towards B. And then the chord after your D minor 7 is B minor 7 flat 5. So if the chord afterwards has a B in it, again, that is screaming that it is Dorian because it has the major 6th in it. So when we have the A minor 7, we're going to be playing natural minor. When we go to D minor 7, we're going to be playing Dorian minor. Now, if you look at those next to each other, that gives you the same key signature throughout. You have all naturals. And that's kind of what you want to look at when you're going from chord to chord is how do the scales and chords relate to each other. And if you can keep them so they have the same key signature, that's going to make soloing over them way easier. So for your A minor 7 chord, you are going to use natural minor. For your D minor 7 chord, you're going to use Dorian minor. So let's take a look at the next 4 measures of Bluebasa. It goes B minor 7 flat 5 into E7 into A minor 7. Now we've already had an A minor 7 chord and we've already played it as natural minor. So that is a really, really big hint that it's most likely going to be natural minor. But let's take a look at the chords around it just to see if we can get any further proof. So if you look at that, B minor 7 flat 5 to E7 to A minor 7 is a minor 2-5-1. And minor 2-5-1s almost always use natural minor. So why do they almost always use natural minor? If you look at the B minor 7 flat 5, the flat 5 is the F natural. When we're looking at that A minor 7 chord, we're trying to figure out what the 6th degree is of that scale. So we want F sharp or F natural. We already know that the B minor 7 flat 5 has an F natural. So that is telling us that it's most likely going to be an F natural. Now, if you look at the E7, that's a little confusing because E7 has a F sharp in the scale because it's based on your E Mixolydian scale. So should we do F sharp since the E7 has an F sharp in it? And the answer is no. Most of the time when you play a minor 2-5-1 with a piano player who is fairly knowledgeable with chord changes, they're going to play an E minor 7 flat 9. They're almost always going to lower that 9 when they're playing minor 2-5-1s. So for that reason, we definitely want the A minor 7 to have the natural minor scale with the F natural. Now let's take a look at the next 4 measures of Bluebasa. This has C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7. So let's try to figure out what the C minor 7 is. If we look at those 3 chords together, C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7, we can see right away that that is a 2-5-1. Minor 7, dominant 7th into major 7 is almost always going to be a 2-5-1. So if we look at this, a 2-5-1, the 2 is minor, and the 2 means literally Dorian minor. So this one isn't really up for discussion at all. This C minor 7 would definitely be Dorian minor. So let's break these chords down a little bit. If you look at the C minor 7, you can see that you have B flat, E flat in it. If you look at the F7, you have B flat and E flat in that scale. And if you look at B flat major 7, you have B flat and E flat in that scale. So for those 4 measures, those 3 chords, you have the same key signature, which is what you're trying to do when you're trying to decipher which minor scale you should use, whether it should be Dorian minor or natural minor. You want to pick the one that fits the scale and the chords around it. So those are some really good clues on how to figure out whether you should use Dorian minor or natural minor. First, you want to look at your melody and see if they use the 6th degree of that chord that you're looking at. And if they do, are they using the major one or the minor one? If it's major, you go Dorian. If it's minor, you go natural. And then checking out the chords around your minor chord. That's usually going to be a really strong sign of whether you should be playing Dorian or natural, because the chord before it or after is most likely going to have that 6th degree as one of its chord tones. So if it has the chord tone that is Dorian, that's your Dorian scale. If it has the chord tone that is natural, that's your natural minor scale. So it can be a little difficult in the beginning, but the more you play with it and the more you study it, the easier it gets to figure these things out. Thanks for taking the time to check this video out. Hopefully now you know which minor scale to play when you're soloing over chord changes. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Thanks a lot.